and cheap wine. We gather around a mic, just killing time. Tales of glory days, now long behind. A podcast of dads who lost their minds.
On today's episode of the Time Pals podcast, we are diving into bad video games or the worst video games from good companies. For every BioWare, Acclaim, Sunsoft, you have a Zynga or an EA Sports, another awful company. But what happens when one of your beloved game companies that has all hits puts out a steaming pile that you have to look at and say, why? Why did you do this? That's what we're here to look into today.
Very well said, John.
Thank you.
This comes from a time period too where now that we know what good games are supposed to be, like we've had episodes already where we talk about all these old games we were playing where we didn't know what bad was. We just thought we weren't good at something. Now we know what actual bad is. So going back to play some of these games now, looking at these lists, I was surprised, honestly, like some of the choices that were made on that wheel. So if you don't know, very quickly, John took 30 game developers, 30. Easily out of a hat. He could have gone to 90 if he wanted to.
There's so many of them. Oh my God.
Put them all on a roulette wheel. And then he spat out basically 3 to 5 at random for myself, for Shadow, and himself. And the plan was you take every studio and play the worst game they've got. Because in theory, each and every studio is supposed to be quote unquote good. The flip side to that, but we didn't really figure it out yet, is if you have a bad studio, do you then play the good game? Because it could be the difference between something rated 20% and 13%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So right now I chose all bad and it was a freaking mistake. And we'll see very soon why. And I now know why like the angry video game nerd and all that shit is so fucking like, you'll never run out of rage. It's not manufactured. It's fucking real. Because my criteria for me, I had to find every game that I could. And then 2, I made myself play solid hour. It doesn't matter how bad it was. 1 solid hour every single game that I actually could find. That way I had something to say, and I actually have way too much for some of this. But John, if you want to start it, or Shadow, you want to start it?
I just want to say before I go, and I think it ended up being this way for all 3 of us, is what Dom and I were talking about, and what I probably mentioned in Discord earlier, which is I basically shot myself and probably yourselves as well in the foot with the roulette idea, because for the most part, I got one of 2 types of companies. So one, an older and more likely than not now defunct or absorbed game company where it was like the 80s to the mid 90s. And as we said, we were just happy to get new games. So we got to take it with a grain of salt. Or 2, a company where the worst game was still like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so I just have to shit on what is like, or not shit on it, but I mean, I have to sit there and really, really look and see like what made this game so bad.
Yeah.
Is it part of a general pattern by this company for like having buggy things or what? So it was interesting, and it made me put a bit more effort than just pulling from information that was already in my head.
Did it make you appreciate making games more, or are you still going to be on Reddit like anytime something is a 5 out of 10, just start screaming into the void?
No, I actually scream into the void in real life. I can't. Reddit rage is a whole different monster, man. I can't hang. I mean, I'll go first unless somebody else wants to.
Kick us off.
So I'm going to start with Absolute Software. And this is the perfect example of the older, now defunct or absorbed company, where we were just happy to get a game. The games are so old. Their first game was 1988, and they folded in 1995. I assume when they tried to make a home improvement video game, and people were like, "Why are you doing this?" and just we're closing you down. I looked at the average reviews on GameFAQs of all of their games, and for taking it with a grain of salt, I'm adding a +1 to the average. So their average was 2.69 out of 5.
Wow.
So I'm going to call it a 3.69 out of 5 because a lot of games don't age well against today's technology and things.
Oh, nobody's clamoring for Home Improvement, the platformer?
No, I don't think. But here's the thing is they had a lot of good games. They had Bart versus the Space Mutants, Double Dragon 1, Ren and Stimpy Buckaroos. They had a lot of like actual good games for back in that time period. They just didn't have staying power. This is going to be the one where I talk about one of my favorite games, Ikari Warriors, which was a top-down shooter.
Right.
So think your 1942 airplanes, but dudes running instead. And the reason I want to talk about this one is not because it was bad, because again, most of these games were all within like that 2 to 3 range, and there was a lot of good games. But Ikari Warriors was one of the first games I remember that had some sort of cheat code in it. And that was when you ran out of lives, you could press ABBA, and boom, you got more lives now. When you're playing in single player mode, so less enemies, the person could plug in the second player controller and press ABBA and join the single player. So then you have 2 people playing the single player game.
Nice.
It's a little bit easier. But there is, and this is where I'm just like, fuck you guys. Why would you do this? There is one last code for Ikari Warriors.
Nudes.
And that it no,
Darn.
that is the level select code.
Okay.
This is on NES, so limited buttons, right? So like with most video games, when you get to the title screen on a console, let it sit for a minute or so, 30 seconds, it'll go to a demo of the game. You had to do this code before the demo started. Would you guys like to hear this code?
It's going to be like
boy.
something NASA made, huh?
All right. So in order to get the level select code, you had to be at the title screen. And before the demo started, you had to press up, down, A, B, left, right, A, B, up, A, down, right, left, B, up, left, A, right, B, left, right, A, left, up, A, down, A, right, left, B, and finally start.
Jesus.
Quickly before the demo started. And then while the airplane was landing, you had to press A or B to choose your level. So the hardest thing about this game was, in fact, the cheat code.
That's incredible.
I know. I
Did
was
this
like, holy
predate the
shit.
Contra code?
I think by just a little bit.
No way. I don't know why it wasn't as catchy.
But here's the thing, though, is it's also the Konami code wasn't actually, it's most well known for Contra, but it was actually first used, so it doesn't predate. It predates it for Contra, but not for where the Konami code first showed up, which was Gradius, and that was 1986.
Oh, no way. Shit. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Because this was, and this for Conquer Warriors, I think it was 1989. So
Oh,
that
crazy.
Konami code was still first, just in a different form from what we know.
Good find, dude. And who made this?
This is Absolute Software.
Absolute. They made so were they mostly things like Bart versus the Space Mutants and stuff, or were they just
They had all of the Simpsons games.
okay?
The 1990s.
If you're a Gen X or even a Zennial, the music raised us. Join me, Naomi Carmack, on a trip back to visit your favorite artists of the decade on the Dope Nostalgia podcast. I talk with the hitmakers and discuss their biggest hits and catch up on where they are now. We also talk about the big stars with friends and experts. Dope Nostalgia. Listen today on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever podcasts are served.
For NES and Absolute Entertainment, not Absolute Software. They had all of the Simpsons games. They had A Boy and His Blob. They had
that was a good one.
Ghostbusters 2, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Family Feud, the first Jeopardy video game, I think, and a couple other things, mainly like pop culture IPs,
Right.
Rocky and Bullwinkle, Swamp Thing.
Well, because you mentioned like Ren and Stimpy and stuff, and there was a while there where having the IP didn't mean that it was going to be inherently bad. It meant it might actually be good because there'd be some kind of money behind it. So that's the only reason why I asked. It's kind of incredible.
Exactly. They did 2 Ren and Stimpy games. They also had what I noticed while I was doing this is that a lot of older game companies will have like a popular IP, but they'll only have it on one console. So like there's a different company that did Ninja Gaiden for Atari Lynx versus NES.
Interesting.
And in this case, they had Jordan versus Bird 1-on-1 but the Game Boy iteration of it, not the actual proper TV console version of it. And
Man.
it's just kind of weird to me seeing that stuff.
So you're digging deep. This is so far out of Dom's wheelhouse. He wasn't even not even close to being born yet.
No.
That's what's insane. Like Jordan versus Bird, I feel like we have to stop and be like, hey, they were both basketball players. And at that time, you couldn't fit basketball teams on one screen. So they just picked two.
Yep. This was a fun one. Who's next?
All right. For me, as soon as I saw BioWare was on there, of course, I was like, oh, sweet. Now, as much as I would love to talk about all the good games they made, which I think started with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic all the way to Mass Effect 3 was probably the best games, the golden age of BioWare, in my humble opinion, of course. Before that and after that, not as great of games. And, well, I could mention their more recent games like Mass Effect Andromeda and all the memes that spawned from that game. Anthem, which shut down last month. And Veilguard honestly pisses me off because it felt like it was forcing certain things from our culture, I'll say, and was trying to force them into this game when I don't care about that. Keep your hidden agenda and messaging out of my games and just focus on making good games, please. But as for BioWare's worst game, I would say that has to be a game called MDK2.
I
Have you
know
guys
the
ever heard of it?
first one. I didn't know
I
that
played
had
the
a
first
sequel.
MDK. I actually have it on Steam. I have
Oh, you guys
MDK
played the
1
first
on.
one.
I'm
Okay.
90% sure I have number 1 on Steam.
Yeah.
Well, I
Because
gotta check. But sorry, keep going.
BioWare made the second
No
game.
way. So they weren't made by the same company. I didn't even know there was a sequel.
I have
Yeah.
number 2 on Steam too.
There you go. Yeah, BioWare made the second game, which I assume they were probably just hired to make it. I doubt they were like, oh yeah, this is a game we've always wanted to work on. In quick summary of the game, it's a third-person run-and-gun shooter type game with a lot of cartoony jokes in it. So, spoiler warning if you guys don't want to know the story. The game takes place in a weird sci-fi-ish universe where Earth is under attack by aliens called the Blitz. These aliens are basically intergalactic jerks who hop from planet to planet,
Intergalactic German.
strip the planets of their resources and move on. Standing in their way are 3 unconventional heroes living on a floating laboratory called the Jim Dandy.
The Jim Dandy.
How
We have Kurt Hectic, a hyper competent guy in a stretchy sniper suit called Magnum. I misspelled it. Maximum Destruction Kit.
Max. Okay.
I think it was Maximum, unless I misspelled it.
was that?
At
what
least
the
now we
first
know what
MDK
MDK
stood
stands for.
I didn't know that.
That must be what it is.
I
Maximum
thought it was
Destruction
Murder
Kit.
Death
gotta
Kill
be,
my
yeah.
entire life.
Thank you for pointing that out now that I realize that. Okay, then you have Dr. Hawkins, a mad scientist who's brilliant, paranoid, and armed with duct-taped inventions.
Oh, okay.
And then probably my favorite character, Max, the 2-legged, 4-armed robot dog that's always smoking a cigar and has anger issues and loves guns.
The edgy 90s, huh? Shit.
Yeah, man.
And I will
Rocket-
say, the one redeeming thing about it is it does have a good soundtrack.
Huh?
It's very, very 90s-ish when you listen to it.
When did it come out? My guess is going to be like 98.
Oh, boy. I think it was right, 98, 99. It's right
it
at
feels
the
like a
end.
98, 99, yeah.
Okay.
2000.
No way. They waited till 2000 to unleash MDK2. When was the first one?
I think 97.
Wow.
Yeah,
No
1997.
wonder it was a piece of shit.
Well, a couple of minutes at the beginning, and I was like, this is weird. A weird game.
This is weird
And-
old man game.
I mean,
The John and underscore.
it's hard to say because especially when you go back to old games, you're like, yeah, these aren't the best controls, but I give them that pass saying like that was probably the best they could do for the time. And so I just kind of watched a long play and just kind of skimmed through to see some of the other the other characters, how they play, the boss fights and everything. It gets so over the top, is all I can really say about the game.
So this is all I remember about the first MDK. One, I was completely wrong. So the first MDK, the only thing I truly remember was your guy had a mask on that was like a clamshell. And then like
Yeah.
you jumped and he had like this is why I knew it was mid-90s. He had like they couldn't get the spawn cape. So he had like a parachute cape, but it had slits in it. So I don't know
Mhm.
how it would stop you from falling other than making you fall faster.
Yeah, more or less, that's it.
I'm probably wrong. I remember MDK being a serious action game. So when you're saying like they had a bunch of jokes in it, that's got to be all BioWare.
I guess. Like I said, it's like every moment, it's such a cartoony, over the top game.
I just thought it was all. I don't remember it that well at all. In my head, whenever I think about it, I think like that, very 90, like you said, the soundtrack, just kind of edgy, total destruction, almost like it was that Wildstorm era of comics where it's like supreme, extreme command, like this, all of that. And I might have to go play it again just to see, like, is it just a weird and funny ass game?
I can't believe you own both. Did you download it for the first one?
I don't know. I don't remember when I got them, frankly, but I've got them.
That's so funny.
They're probably on some sale, and you're just
Yeah.
like, cool, $2.
Maybe
Let's
like a humble
go.
bundle thing or something
Well,
like
I
that.
said, I own the first one. I've never once had nostalgia for it, like ever. You know what I mean? So I was just like,
I mean, I kind of
wow,
want to try it now.
you do play a lot of video games, John.
Not nearly as much as I wish I would.
Same here. You
Yeah.
know, not to get off track, but there was another game that was a competitor to it at the time called One. And around that same time, there was another one that had Bruce Willis in it called Apocalypse or
Yeah.
something like that.
Apocalypse.
Oh,
Yeah.
So they were
God
all
damn it,
around the
Mike.
same time. They were all the same. I thought they were all the same level of quality. The Bruce Willis one cracked me up though, because
Mike, I was going to say, stop talking about Apocalypse. You're spoiling it. It's fine. It's fine.
We'll cut it all out. Don't worry.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Just cut that out.
So
Get that bit out.
And just move it over to when I get to it. And then just insert yourself somewhere in there.
I'll act surprised. Don't worry about it. So for mine, real quick, the first choice I have is Arcane Studios, which based in France. In my mind, they were brand new because I hadn't heard of them until they started releasing games around the Xbox era, which was 30 freaking years ago. So like in my head, it's a brand new studio, right? Because they only make hits. Completely wrong. The first game I remember seeing of them was 2006's Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, which is
Oh, I love that
right?
game.
See, I only recognized the title and the box art because it had this rubbery looking CGI orc puppet in battle armor. And
Right.
if you owned a PC back then, like I did, you picked that game up and you're like, oh shit, they still make Might and Magic? And then you put it back down and you went and got yourself like Elder Scrolls, Oblivion, or Kingdom Hearts 2. But
Right.
I respect the fact that you guys have fond memories of it. So Arcane Studios were best known for making some incredible games, ones that I actually liked. My favorite being the very underrated steampunk stealth game series called Dishonored. Do you guys know that one?
I do know that one. Yeah.
Dishonored was one of the at the time I thought it was one of the best. I thought it was going to be around forever. It was a fantastic stealth series. Art's amazing. You play a great main character, and then somehow I didn't know it made a profit, but my second favorite game from them is this underrated game called Prey, where you basically
Wait, the original or the newer one?
well, I guess it technically would be the original one because I think they redid it, right? Or
Yeah, they did. Or Bethesda. No, was it when Bethesda bought them and then I believe they assigned them to remake Prey.
The original one was very good. I don't know if
Okay.
I've played the Bethesda version of it, but I'm sure it's the same.
Well, sorry, it's not Bethesda's version. It's ZeniMax is the publisher that owns Bethesda and owns them also.
Got it. Okay.
And assigned them, I guess, the license to Prey and said, okay, go make a game.
Original then, because I think this would have come
Okay.
out around the same time for
Okay.
the PC anyway. I don't know. I'm sure consoles are probably somebody else, like John was saying. Like they usually will have somebody else make the other thing.
Mhm.
But recently, 2021, they made Deathloop, which I didn't play, but won a bunch of Game of the Year awards. So I'm assuming it's great. Which makes their worst game on their list Redfall. And It's a weird outlier. It's an Xbox Series X exclusive, and I downloaded the game on Game Pass. I booted it up, and the first thing I noticed were how weird the graphics were. So there's a lot going on in that first hour that I played. All the cutscenes are like still shots. They're either like paintings or they're like 3D models that don't move. And there's this droning like commentary that provides details for the story that disappear the moment it hits your brain. It's like eating air flavored cotton candy. You know someone is talking to
Well,
you
that sounds
and they're
sad.
showing you bright colors and then it's gone and you go, I don't know what to do next. And it's goes way too long and it's like all the creativity of an optometry alphabet test. Just slide, 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 and then we do the next mission. It's very weird. The characters are really bright and cartoony, but the setting itself is like blood and gore because it's supposed to be about vampires. So I feel
Oh, interesting.
right. So Redfall, if you look at the cover, it's got like a vampire. He's got the fangs out. He's trying to crawl away from this group of like Overwatch style, like brightly colored
Yeah.
guys, right? When you boot the game up and you play it, there's blood everywhere. It's on the walls. People are dead, and I wasn't ready for that. So I'm like, what exactly are they trying to build here? And I don't know this, but it feels like it started off as something totally different, and then the horror vampire elements could have been thrown in at the end because you have the choice between 4 players or 4 characters. They all have a special move, all completely different looking, not really ugly like a Concord, but just they look weird. Everything looks weird. Everything looks off. And then the worst part about it is it's impossible to play on the console. You need to shoot things with precision, but the aiming, what do you call it? The aiming target moves like too fast and too clumsy somehow. Like you're putting flippers on a puppy and it moves with like determination but zero coordination. It's like the slightest tap and you go 180 almost. And then you
Oh,
try to like slow it down, but now you're going too slow to shoot things that are running around on screen.
yeah.
I wasn't sure. They called it a 4-player looter shooter, so I'm assuming they thought about it being like a Left 4 Dead cooperation kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just can't
That's what it
imagine it
seems
working.
like. Kinda like a Left 4 Dead or Borderlands thing, but it
Yeah.
looks
See, Borderlands is what I thought of. If they would have darkened the outlines of all the characters, you would have had Borderland graphics with like a horror
interesting.
setting, which could work. But in this situation, everybody moves like they're underwater. Oh, and then like
Hmm.
for a company that was so good at stealth games and creativity and won awards for both,
Yeah.
totally ridiculous stealth elements. None of it works. Everything's broken. And
Oh.
and the vampire horror thing should be perfect. You know what I mean? It genuinely creepy. Does not work. Everybody kind of either knows where you are and shoots at you from like 200 yards away, or they just get stuck in like a pattern and start vibrating. This is like, and I played this now, right? So this is patched to hell. I can only
Yeah.
imagine how bad it was when it first came out. The worst moment for me though, I did like the genuinely interesting sound effects. The downside is like, so the first time you fight a vampire, it's like a half an hour in. This is in a vampire shooting game. So you hear
Okay.
you hear him like trapped somewhere, you hear him like knocking on walls and stuff. Really, really cool. But in order to get there, you're shooting like human beings for like the entire time. And the entire time you're like, I thought we were gonna, shoot a fucking vampire. Give me a Castlevania moment, you know what I mean? Throw a mummy or something in there. Nothing. It's just literally it's like literally any other shooter in the world. And then you finally get to the vampire after hearing him like breathing and shit. And he pops out and he's like this very thin, like Slender Man inspired thing. And
Oh.
you can tell like too many ideas. Nobody had an actual vision. And you have this very sloppy, unfortunately from a very good studio, mess of a game.
I saw looking at the cover, it looks like you're like kind of traditional, like very pale, bald, like Nosferatu type vampire.
Nothing wrong with either of those.
No, not at all. It, like when done right, it's really good. The next game that I have, or next company that I have is Obsidian. And Obsidian, for those who don't know, is a company who got started making sequels to already amazing games.
Right. Yeah.
They are sort of like the cover band of game companies.
Right.
Effectively, for those in the Bay Area, the Mustache Harbor of game companies. And for those who don't know, Mustache Harbor is the foremost yacht rock cover band out of the Bay Area. Their first 2 games are Knights of the Old Republic and Neverwinter Nights 2. And their issue is not so much that they have awful games or make bad games. but they just constantly launch in an incredibly buggy state.
Right.
Their lowest rated games are Alpha Protocol, which is kind of like a stealthy, kind of like Siphon Filter's shitty cousin,
Did you play
but
that?
it still had a 6 out of 10.
I never played the game, but I know all about it.
Okay, your
Yeah.
reaction was like, I
Alpha
fucking
Protocol.
know this.
It's people shit on it a lot, but like when you go through the reviews on it, and you kind of like, that doesn't seem that awful. And then the other one that they had that's pretty low is Dungeon Siege. Again, 6 out of 10. What I'm looking at for them more than anything is just, it seems like they are the subject of the modern gaming landscape, which is trying to release regardless of whether or not your game is in the right state. It happened with the game they came out recently, Avowed. I mean, it was, people said that it was just broken at the beginning. There was a lot of stuff that needed to be patched. I feel like, I mean, it still has like an 8 to like 8.5 out of 10 on its reviews. I'm like, okay, again, it must have fixed it up or something. It must have gotten better. And then Outer Worlds 2, it was a big thing where both games did not perform to their standards. So I don't know if Microsoft is planning to close Oblivion down.
Oh, no way.
But I saw a brief thing where they're like, yeah, the Xbox bosses are just like, yeah, the last 2 big games they pumped out weren't standards as far as earnings and
Wow.
purchases. So I don't know. Microsoft, just like EA, has a penchant for killing game studios. So I'd be curious to see what's on the horizon for them. But I mean, KOTOR 2, Neverwinter Nights 2 are 2 amazing games that I absolutely love. Mike, one of your favorites, Fallout New Vegas.
Yes. By
You know, it's like,
the Outer Worlds guy.
they have so many good games, but like even in this day and age, that's not enough to save a company.
That is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, they also have South Park: The Stick of Truth, which was amazing, and a bunch of other really good RPGs
Oh
too.
yeah,
but
they did that game.
yeah. But like their last, I mean, I played that game Grounded when it launched, and that was buggy as shit back in 2022. It just seems like their last 5 years have just been plagued with just bad dev cycles and bad QA.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like there's nothing for them that it's just like, oh yeah, this is a 2 out of 10 or something.
Right. I liked Grounded as that when it first, like, I think I played it probably the same time you did, where it was basically a beta game that you put on Xbox.
Yeah.
And I thought it was fun, but I never knew when that released for real. And I guess it was still in a beta state.
I was going to say for Obsidian, kind of like what you say, that their games are buggy, and it just feels like modders have to come in and like fix those issues.
Yeah.
Because was it Viva Las Vegas, or Viva the Fallout Las Vegas is a mod that fixes some problem where like the longer you play the game, it's going to crash at some point because it like keeps saving up memory or something. And so all they had to do was like figure out how to like refresh the game so it frees up that memory space so you can keep playing longer before it eventually would inevitably crash in the vanilla version.
Yeah.
And that's still my favorite of the Fallouts. And you're playing on a bomb, basically. You're playing on a timer bomb. Thanks.
I love their KOTOR 2.
Yeah.
And then I was surprised when that came out on PC, a guy released the, what was it, content patch or whatever? I forget what they call it. But basically, he like all the files for all this like missing side quests and like all this extra content that's in the game. It's in there. And he just had to basically go in there and just figure out how to connect it. There was even like a whole other planet. If you guys specifically recall, when you go to Korriban to find one of those Jedi Masters, and spoiler alert, normally you'd find her dead, but there was like a whole another planet you were supposed to go to chase her down. And they've now fixed that and put it in the game. It's not the best. I played through it recently. I can kind of see why they probably decided this isn't fun. We should cut it. We won't have time to fix it up and make it fun.
Oh, so it's in an unfinished state, or at least not a polished state.
It was, but whoever these modders eventually got it working, and they even voice acted in it.
Oh wow!
You can tell it's the same voice, or at least there's a male voice actor and a female voice actor, and they just kind of modify their voice a little bit in the scene.
That's hilarious.
It's really cool. at least it's cool to see passionate fans are like, oh, wow, Obsidian had a bunch of other ideas in this game. They just didn't have time to finish it, but they left it in there for people to discover. And now modders can kind of flesh that out and figure out how to get it working.
How much would you pay for an Obsidian game where all it was cut content? Just like, it's almost like a bunch of random games in one setting, like a 30-in-1, but just cut content from every single
like
game.
those old sampler discs that we
I
used to
would
get, like the
fucking
first
love that.
level of Tony Hawk and the first 2 levels of Medieval.
Honestly, because they're famous for that. They're famous for like, what's his name? Peter Molyneux, where he would like have these giant ideas and then not have enough time or energy to throw them all into one game. Same fucking thing. Same thing.
Yeah, basically.
Some companies release them, like I think Sega released like on their 60th anniversary, so 2020, they released a bunch of like unfinished proof of concept stuff to Steam. And like one of them was like the first level of a Golden Axe game that was like a 3D one, and it was super big. There wasn't even a boss in there. It was maybe 6 minutes long at best.
Wow.
But they're just like, I mean, we just have it sitting around. Why
not? Yeah, before it
just
disappears forever,
release
right?
it? Yeah. And there was like a Streets of Rage type beat 'em up that was released, but it was the Yakuza characters from the Yakuza series.
Oh shit.
And I think it's like 2 levels maybe, but again, they're just like, why the hell not just throw that out there, you know? And so they put it out for free, and it's like, why not just throw that stuff out?
See, that's my line of thinking too, is somebody spent all this time and energy to make this. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to make any money. Why don't you just fucking give it to the fans?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think you got to be careful, because let's not forget GTA San Andreas. They left in the hot coffee stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
And then once it came out on PC and they discovered, oh, you can have sex with your date.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they had to just full on strip clubs to GTA 5. So it's like, oh, okay, who cares?
Yeah. But it's crazy how that created a whole thing with the ratings board that were like, wait, this was in the game? And Rockstar's like, yeah, but it wasn't supposed to be accessible.
Yeah.
Players have no way of doing this unless they hack the game and find it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but it was in the game and you guys didn't tell us about it.
The ESRB.
Yeah, that's a whole episode there.
Right.
All right. This next one I think will be pretty short. Midway. I'm sure we all know Midway. Gosh, I remember having so many games published by them, even on the N64. Always seeing their logo pop up.
Oh, God, yes. Yeah.
NBA Jam. NBA. Sorry, I interrupted. Never mind. Go.
That's all good. So let's see. Midway had a lot of games to choose from, both good and bad. But there was a lot of bad because the company was pumping out games every year since the 1970s.
Oh, God, dude, for real.
Yeah.
So this was a tough one because I did not have time nor the patience to check every single game and judge for myself.
I can only imagine your
one
eyes bugging out when you like sort by worst score and it's like
Right.
80, 90 different Midway games. 70 of them are variations of Mortal Kombat 1.
Right. So, I mean, there was like a few of them that like when I popped up, I'm like, wow, this seems like a simple arcade game, which a lot of them were just very simple in concept and were probably just because in some of the videos I saw, they were like emulators. So they probably got rid of like the timer in them. And if you didn't complete the timer, then, oh, you got to put, more quarters in. It seems like that was their philosophy back in the day.
Yeah.
So if I had to give it to Midway as the worst game, I was going to say The Grid.
I don't know The Grid.
Yeah.
Well, it was an arcade machine game from 2000, and it was a third-person arena shooter. Just a small map. I'm trying to think of like your average, was it like Quake games where just everyone would grab a gun, whatever was on the map somewhere, you just grab it, and then you just look for any player and just take them out before they take you out, and you score as many points as you can.
Interesting.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the game.
Because right now it sounds great.
Right. And I mean, it was developed by Ed Boon, if
good old Ed
you can
Boon.
believe that. I don't have to give him an introduction. Everyone just kind of knows.
Yeah.
And I guess, well, it just has cameos of Sub-Zero, Noob Saibot, and Scorpion as playable characters.
They do that
and
all
just
the
a bunch of
time.
random cool other characters that they just probably quickly came up with, and then just put this quick shooter together, and then boom, we got a new arcade machine. Send it out.
So the grid, was it like an early online kind of thing? So you fought real people?
No, just it did say it did have multiplayer, so I imagine
You need physical
probably like
cabinets.
a big arcade machine that probably had at least like 4 other players that could also jump in, and you like probably share your own screen. You just run around in this small little arena and just kill each other.
I've never heard of this. By the time you got to 2000, too, these arcades are starting to go away. Like, there was very
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
That's an interesting choice.
It's actually, that game was their last arcade cabinet too.
Makes total sense. Makes total sense to me. Interesting. Good one, dude. For my second one, because I fucked this up originally, it's going to be Cryo Interactive. So after one French developer, I now picked the second one somehow. Through the randomness of the roulette machine, I have 2 French developers. Anyway, I got excited when I first read the name because I mistook Cryo Interactive for Crytek. I even told John this. I'm like, this is going to be hard, bro. Like, Crytek makes some great shit. Fucking Far Cry. I re-Googled that, and I was 100% wrong. Cryo Interactive was a studio that made poorly designed but brightly colored mediocre adventure games based off nerdy shit that both Shadow and John love. Shit like Dune. I shouldn't say shit all the time, but things like Dune, Philip K. Dick, and fuck it, Atlantis. And they just pick adventure games up the yin-yang. I made fun of Acclaim last episode, but they steal Cryo's lunch money and they buy themselves a new Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt and openly wear it in their house while banging Cryo's mom. Technically, they're best known for Doom. I guarantee you, if you guys Google the box art for their games in the 90s, you'll recognize some of the box art as the games that you would see propped up by Best Buy cash registers back then.
Yep.
The ones next to like Redneck Rampage and the Prodigy CD.
I'm looking at them right now like, oh, they made these games?
You're looking at them like, I remember skipping all of this and going, who buys this shit?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Half of those things you're going to be looking at and you're going to go, I've seen this box art. I've seen this walking down my CompUSA, ignoring it so I can go pick up Doom.
That's more what I feel like. Best Buy is too highbrow for some of these games to be
one time they weren't quote unquote cool. So their worst game. So here's what I didn't know, and I'm kind of glad I got this one. What they're best known for technically is not Doom. It's Time Cop for the Super Nintendo, which became infamous online for being one of the worst games of the entire era. Basically, every bad game retro commentator on YouTube has referenced it, and I decided to pivot. So I took a look at their surprisingly long list of titles, and I picked Hellboy, Dogs of the Night on PC. The version I played is called Hellboy Asylum on the PlayStation. It is the same game. They just changed it because the game is so terrible that if you just rename it something, you can just release it to a public that hopefully has never heard of the first one. And then I chose obviously the PlayStation version. So I knew I was in trouble like right after the fucking PlayStation 1 logo, and it gave way to a black screen, and on the very top left was a tiny flashing Pong paddle, and I thought it crashed. I thought the whole thing crashed. And I had a brief moment of elation. I was going to text John, hey bro, we can't do this game because I can't get it to work. And then 3 minutes later, the Hellboy name appears. There's no title at the bottom. It just says press start. It's like they just fucking erased the title to change it to Abyss and then didn't do it. I don't know why. Now, this is based off the comics too, because this was pre-Ron Perlman. So you boot it up. There's this long ass intro where you're introduced to a bunch of people. It's in a graveyard. It's all very PlayStation 1 graphics. Like, think of like worse Silent Hill, basically, with a little bit of Resident Evil thrown in. And the moment you find Hellboy, you realize that having it based off the actual comic was a mistake. The characters look like they're all the shrunken head guy from the first Beetlejuice movie. And Hellboy is standing in basically half naked, no shirt, wearing Laura Croft's shorts. And he has skis for feet because apparently that was a 90s saying they can't draw feet. And he's walking around clipping through the ground, as you would imagine. The game controls a little bit like Resident Evil with the dash of Final Fight. Very tanky. You can punch, but the punches don't land. Instead, like, it's one of those ones where there's a brief moment where you think to yourself, okay, I'm Hellboy. I'm in a graveyard. I'm going to be beating up some zombies, right? I'm beating up some skeletons. First thing they do for you in the beginning of this fucking game is give you a find a switch puzzle. No explanation, nothing. Just go move some switches and open a gate.
Okay.
Okay, fine. The problem is there's nothing to tell you what to do. So you're just walking around punching tombstones that don't move in hopes that somebody just flags you down and says something. When you finally cross whatever invisible barricade they have, they finally throw 2 emaciated zombies at you. And the zombies fucking take taekwondo because they just start blocking all your shit. And then they
Yeah.
scream as you punch them, but they have no effect. And there's only one sound effect for their scream. In fact, there's only one sound effect and one attack animation for every enemy I had in that entire hour. And here's how long this beginning took. Played the entire hour, didn't find one fucking gun. Nothing. Just walking around shirtless,
What?
punching zombies. And then there was this like other like bat looking thing, and it's terrible. It's a bad game.
Is it one of those 3D beat 'em ups where like you're having to kind of spin around a bit because the enemy might be at like a 30-degree angle this way from you,
So
and you accidentally punched at a 25-degree angle, so it's just slightly off the enemy?
yes and no. The fortunate thing is the fights are usually in a contained area. So
Okay.
they will eventually funnel themselves close enough to you to get hit by your fists. The problem is
Oh, so
that
you just gotta punch and let them walk into it.
basically it's that Simpsons thing where if I'm going to kick my legs like this and I'm going to punch like this, and if you hit me, it's your fault. Same thing, but in a video game about Hellboy.
Amazing.
What's crazy, because obviously I hate it, but what's crazy, that's not even the game that sank the company. Cryo Interactive has to be the worst thing to ever happen to France since World War II. Terrible. When we spin the wheel again next year, if I get them again, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to try to figure out what their highest rated game is.
They came off the list.
Did they? Oh,
But
okay.
I could
thank
put it
God.
back on if you'd like me to.
No. Because I don't know how they survived the 90s legit. Because when I'm looking on their list, it's nothing but point and clicks well after
Mhm.
those were popular. Well
Yeah.
after.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they're trying to get like grandma money of like, I recognize the word Titanic or Atlantis, I should say, and they're just getting those, but I don't get that had its era, right? But they kept
Mhm.
making games, and then eventually
Yeah.
they just stopped making games. They stopped. They just basically ran out of money. But that blew my mind because I'm like, how are you guys the point and click guys? And then on top of that, how did you guys buy Hellboy? You know what I mean? I guess the movies didn't come out yet, so there was no real like you could me and you could have bought Hellboy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like at that time, Mike Mignola just wants straight cash. That's all it worked.
It's like someone wants to buy my IP, great.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's bad. I would tell you guys to check it out, but don't play it.
Okay.
Well, that leads me to like an honorable mention, because when you mentioned Cryo Interactive, I'm like, why does that name sound familiar? Did you see on that list a game called Ring, the Legend of the?
Yes.
I can't pronounce it. Nibelungen.
Yeah, I was looking around for titles, and there was a shit ton of them. Ring was one.
You need to watch Mandalore Gaming's review on that game, and he also reviews the sequel, which is arguably worse than the first game. And the first game is, as you said, point and click adventure type.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the incredible part. It's based on Richard Wagner's 4-opera cycle, Der Ring des Nibelungen,
Oh my god.
which is,
I'm so glad I didn't know that.
how do you phrase it? It's 4 or 3 hours. Like if you go to Germany and you try to watch this play, you have to watch it for 4 nights
Whoa.
in order to watch the
Jesus.
whole story. You have to keep
Jesus
coming
Christ.
back. That's how crazy like the actual play, or I should say opera, because it's a musical.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
But
Why? I thought the Philip K. Dick reference was the worst thing about. They dug deep. German opera plays.
but it's just for this game trying to take the story of The Ring and turn it into this weird sci-fi point and click adventure game. They're retelling it as if it's like 40K ish is like the best way I can summarize it. But like I said, like add it to your watch later list on YouTube.
Okay.
Mandalore Gaming, because it's like an hour and a half long video, because he goes in depth everything about it. But I thought I should just mention, I'm sure everyone has heard that song, Flight of the Valkyries, in every Vietnam
Yep.
documentary that they play. That's where that song is from.
Oh,
is from that musical.
No way.
very interesting.
Yeah, it blew my mind when I found out about that. Like, oh, that's where it
I
originates
wouldn't have known
from.
that at all. That's crazy.
But you guys are gonna laugh your asses off when you watch his video, and you're just gonna be like, "What were they thinking
Yeah,
with
we'll
this
have to
game?"
add
Like, oh
that as
yeah,
a link.
we are making a perfect representation of this opera musical play in this sci-fi setting. It works, and it drives Mandalore to insanity in this video.
Wow. That's on the
Amazing.
list. Holy shit.
That's I just noted it down so I could watch because
Yeah.
that does sound very interesting.
So I just felt like I had to spread the word of that because I watched him live stream it, and oh my god, he was struggling to get through it.
Oh.
Some of the puzzles, it's
Mhm.
not exactly like pixel hunting, which is really annoying,
Yeah.
but just some of the puzzles there is just like, really? They really thought most players are going to discover that.
Yeah.
It's one of those games you'd have a better chance of just finding it by accident.
I'm glad nobody took me on it, but I didn't know if we were going to try to see who was going to have the worst game. I realized they're all going to be like zeros. But I was going to ask whoever had the worst one to make John stream it. And now I want him to stream that ring game.
I mean, I'll pick one to stream definitely, but I have one that's 1.5 out of 10 on
Ooh.
IGN.
Okay.
But I don't know if it's available. And
I
even
know.
Mandalore says he had to gut his computer just to get it working.
Oh yeah.
And even the second game, he gave up. He couldn't get it to work, but a friend of his in the Discord was able to say, "Hey, I think I figured it out," and he was able to get it working. And he even says, he's just like, I don't know if I'll ever be able to, but I need to do this. Otherwise, you guys won't leave me alone. So I need to get through this.
That's incredible.
I mean, I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
I will see what
Okay.
I can do. But all right, I think this one will be my last one since we're getting up there in time, and then we'll. But Bethesda. So Bethesda, as we all know, is most known for all of its RPG hits, and I think that goes without saying. Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and then games like Doom, and they even had a hand in Dishonored. From 2009 to 2011, I actually wrote this as a script for myself because I was having a good go with this one. We had some games which we'll say didn't meet expectations. We had Brink, which was kind of touted to be like another like Team Fortress thing, kind of like future, or not arena shooter, but multiplayer shooter, lots of parkour involved, running around, sliding over things. Good premise,
Yes.
bad execution, which was kind of a lot of the things at the time. We had Wet, which
Wet, I remember because they were
yeah.
trying to make her the new
Oh.
Laura Croft.
What was
Yeah.
that game about?
Yeah. It was
remember
basically
the
a mix
name.
of like Grindhouse with like a girl with a samurai sword,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
But both of these were still, again, like 5s or 6s out of 10. So
Yeah.
it's like, okay, not awful. But let me tell you, are either of you fans of Mickey Rourke?
Not really, but I know of
How
the actor.
Okay.
dare you?
I mean, he's a good actor.
Would
but I'm
an
just not a fan.
would an action game starring Mickey Rourke excite or interest either of you?
I'm listening.
If he was the villain, I get to kill him. Yeah.
Oh my god.
No. What if I told you that there is in fact a game that is an action shooter starring Mickey Rourke?
I would give
And
you my
that
money.
game not only got a 2 out of 10 on Digital Foundry and GameSpot,
Oh,
but a
Jesus.
1.5 out of 10 by IGN.
no way. IGN's
What?
rating started.
What is this game?
Pretty much the same across many other review sites, and that was Rogue Warrior.
I know this one. Okay. This is a good one.
Now, yeah.
I've
Am I
seen
making
this
sense
logo.
enough to think? Well, yeah. Was
Okay.
there some sort of dev hate against Bethesda at the time where people were just shitting on these games for no reason? No, there wasn't. Was the game based very, very loosely on the exploits of real SEAL Commander Dick Marchenko? Very loosely. Yes. And I guess if you're getting paid to license your real self, though, you look the other way when the check is cut. The game comes with a script that uses the word fuck with what I can only describe as gay abandon. It seems like it could easily be the Turning Point presents the A Real American Shooter Game of the Year edition. It takes place in the Cold War era, where the character is taking on the Soviet and North Korean threat and showing those commie cocksuckers what Americans can do when disregarding orders from their commanding officers.
Wow.
Wow.
Dialogue itself is awesome. Sorry, awful. The entire script probably looks like a chat transcription from an unsupervised 12-year-old from around the same time period
Oh, dear God.
on Xbox Live. Most of the mechanics are broken, with a big call out to the stealth mechanics, though. Most of the game's enemies have their backs turned to you and completely disregard footsteps. So you could just sprint right at them and take them out, and nobody registers shit. The hitboxes are so inconsistent that you could headshot an enemy, or you could also headshot an enemy 9 times, or you could also empty an entire magazine into their chest. Who knows what's going to happen?
And
Are
this
they
was
going to?
based on his real exploits, right?
Yes.
So he's just running around shooting people in the back.
Yep. And then
Jesus.
also, of course, the super sweet insta-kill moves, like you're sneaking up on somebody so you can like cut their throat, or if you get in there, you can those were all broken. So effectively, when you were performing one of those, you were invincible to everything. So you could just
Oh,
smash
yeah.
into a crowd of people like the Kool-Aid Man and start running auto kill animations and take little to no damage.
Wow.
That is, of
Wow.
course, assuming that you can get the game to recognize that you were pressing the fucking kill button.
No.
That's me.
Now, I would be remiss if I did not go into some sort of odd contextual segue like I tend to do. But in this case, I will keep it on topic and give you a little tiny bit of history about the man who inspired the
Yes.
game.
That's what I
Oh
want.
boy.
Richard Marchenko is a fucking terrifying man. He was the first commanding officer of SEAL Team 6, the task force, which, for those who don't know, received recognition for taking out Osama bin Laden and a whole lot of other crazy extraction and other missions and stuff throughout the years. Funny story about SEAL Team 6. When they were initially founded, there were only 2 other SEAL teams, but they chose the number 6 so that it would confuse the commies.
They don't have that many numbers in Russia.
Yeah. After relinquishing command of SEAL Team 6, Marchenko later founded Red Cell, an organization which was purposed with testing the effectiveness of America's own military and government installations.
Wow.
Now, of course, these were not just simple routine inspections of making sure people were checking gate cards and stuff like that. They were full-on simulated terrorist attacks on our own property, complete with hostage-taking and hardcore negotiations and
Jeez.
interrogations. Operations would typically begin with Red Cell operatives breaking and entering into a guarded property, disabling all aspects of security, and ultimately resulting in Red Cell being in a prime position to complete some nefarious objective that America's enemies might very well attempt to accomplish in a real scenario.
Jeez.
In perhaps one of the most damning examples of Red Cell's handiwork, they were able to plant several simulated bombs on Air Force One without anybody detecting them.
What? How is that not the
That's-
game?
Whoa.
I don't know.
That's
They
incredible.
recorded the video of all of their operations so that they could rub the noses of high-ranking officers in it and point out their own failures to them.
That's
Now,
amazing.
unfortunately, Marchenko left Red Cell later after some pesky embezzlement charges and after complaining of being neutered.
They wanted to put a chick in this group.
Yeah.
It's something
They-
as simple as that. One.
And complaining about being neutered by things like regulations and safety protocols and general care and regard for human life, and playing a little too rough with government employees, going so far as to submit their hostages to intense psychological and physical torture in the process of testing their effectiveness. So yeah, that's who this game was based after, or
Oh
based
my
on.
God.
America.
Oh, wow. America.
I'll be honest with you. I was hoping, because I don't know his story other than he's a SEAL Team 6 guy. I was hoping it was going to be like the Franks Dukes thing. from Bloodsport. He just walked into the forest and came out with a trophy and was just like, I won this trophy at Bloodsport. And everybody went, here's $1 million for your movie. It's like, I was hoping
Yeah.
it was like that. This man sounds dangerous. And probably doesn't probably doesn't listen to podcasts. So we're safe. I'm just going to let you know. We're completely safe. There's no way he plays a video game. He'll never know that we just made fun of him for a minute.
Yeah, hopefully.
He's going to be hiding in this very
If I disappear, though, you know what happened.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the knife to slowly go around you and they just pull you back in the blackness.
Yeah, because there's a fake background here and you just see the arm appear on screen. I'm like, oh god.
That's interesting. Originally, Bethesda had Zombie Studios develop the game, and they were known for making Spec Ops and one of the original Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six games.
So they had good pedigree for a minute for that.
Well,
originally.
Yeah.
I looked that up though, because like I was like, oh yeah, Spec Ops. Spec Ops are great. I've only played Spec Ops: The Line, which was a good game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spec Ops 1 and 2 got like 5 out of 10. Apparently they were not great games.
I guess as far as reviews go, it's not as great as it seemed. Like literally you could be in the room hiding behind the door and you take out an enemy and then another enemy will walk in and basically do the thing like, I guess it was just the wind. And then they walk out. Even though there's a bunch of bodies on the ground right there.
but when fucking Konami does it, it's considered to be cheeky goodness. You know what I mean? But I guess it's all about the setting, you know?
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of playing on stream. But we'll
I changed my mind.
I'll play them all.
Well, that one you can probably still find. I don't think you can find.
It was an Xbox only title though, so I'd have to see how easy it is for me to emulate Xbox 360 stuff on a PC. But we'll see. I'll give them a go. I mean, I want to try this. Just to go, Ring received largely negative reviews in North America, but was a commercial hit with sales above 400,000 units worldwide.
Yeah, it somehow did good enough for a sequel.
How?
I know, and the reviews are terrible. And then the sequel did worse.
How did this studio survive to make fucking Hellboy?
I know. It's incredible.
I know, man.
It's an incredible story.
Yeah, it's the plucky underdog story.
Like I said, Mike, watch Mandalore Gaming's video about it, and you're just gonna even more. You're gonna be like, how? I don't know. Or so many people got ripped off when they tried to play it. They're just like, what is this crap?
They're a very polite society. They probably just didn't want to return it.
Yeah,
maybe.
What do you have next, Dom?
Well, Mike kind of spoiled it.
Like I said, I'm cutting all that out.
but
no one will know.
Yeah, I'll jump right into Neversoft. I'm sure rings a bell with everybody.
Hell yeah!
Obviously, Tony Hawk and Guitar Hero immediately comes to everyone's brain. Oh yeah, those guys. They made those two big franchises.
Hell yeah!
So instead of picking one of those, franchises and trying to decide which one was like the worst of them, I figured I'd look at their 3 other games that Neversoft worked on that I bet most of you either never heard of, or you maybe remember the game from an ad, or maybe saw it on the shelf at Blockbuster, but you didn't know it was made by Neversoft. The 3 of them were Skeleton Warriors, Apocalypse, and Gun.
I owned Apocalypse.
You owned it.
I've never heard of
it for
Apocalypse.
PlayStation.
No, Skeleton Warriors was the one based off the show, right?
I don't know if it was a show.
Oh, okay, never mind.
It played like, was it Donkey Kong Country, that 2D platform?
I'm thinking of something else.
Kind of action game.
Right.
Just to put in perspective with Skeleton Warrior. Gun, I remember all the ads.
I remember the ads.
I think that was early when the Xbox 360 had just come out. And they were one of those studios that quickly got a game for the Xbox 360. If I
close my eyes, I can still see it because it's a yellow background with black text. It it was very stark at the time.
That Western type action.
I worked at a game store when it came out, so there was like a section of the wall with
just
Gun on there. Like,
so crazy.
Like, well, I mean, it was small sorts of like 3 of them in a row was like a chunk of the wall.
Oh, yeah, because it was probably you either get Gun or you get Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, because that was like the only few games for the 360 at the time.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I was gonna pick Apocalypse.
Never heard.
I'm sure Mike knows nothing about
Nothing
it.
at all. This is the first time I've
Except,
played it at all.
Mike, you would be totally surprised that the main character was voiced by Bruce Willis
No
himself.
way. I don't even know who that
Yes. Die Hard himself decided to lend his voice to this game that I can only describe as like almost like a rail shooter kind of.
Yeah.
Because you only progress like forward in one direction, and the camera will only change when it wants to. You have no control over it. And you can only dodge like left, right, forward, and back. So it's almost like 2D, but in a 3D environment. And yeah, I couldn't get over. He keeps spamming his dialogue and says, "Suck on this," over and over again.
Well, like Dom was going to say, which I didn't say in the beginning, the plan was never to have him be the main guy. So he was going to be the wisecracking sidekick with such luminary, hilarious lines like, "Suck on this," and also, "Suck on this." But apparently, like, I don't know when, and you might know, shut up, but I don't know when the decision was made. But the way I always read was somebody during the making of the game, Neversoft clearly went, "Hey, we just fucking paid Bruce Willis a bunch of money to be his sidekick. We're fucking dumb."
Wow.
And I bet you it probably didn't even cost that much because back then, like how many, well, first off, where was he at in his career at the time? Probably not at a huge point. Die Hard had come and gone by
I
a
would
lot.
guess
And
this was Fifth Element, Bruce Willis.
yeah, it was probably running around Fifth
Oh,
Element
okay.
time. And it was like, that movie did not do well, despite it being one of my favorite movies of all time.
Is it similar to Ron Perlman, who talked about he did the narration for the Fallout and only got paid what, $40 in a sandwich?
Yeah. That's incredible, by the way.
It's the same kind of thing where you're just like, wow. They didn't know at the time he'd be this big actor later on. Just like, oh, it'd be cool to have you narrate our game.
Well, I also think there's a part of it where Bruce Willis's contract clearly did not matter if they sold this game or not. You know what I mean? Like, if they were just like,
He was
"Hey, we're
getting
going to
paid either way,
he just would have been like, "Yeah, fine. Did I get anything else? No." You know what I mean? Like, all right, fine.
Right.
You know, it's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Yeah. I mean, the second to last boss is you fighting the president of the United States, who turned out to be one of the 4 horsemen.
I mean,
John, did you liked it, right?
I mean, I was fucking, what, 13 at the time? 12? Something like that? Of course I
Yeah,
liked
but,
it.
you know.
This was cool. Suck it.
So,
Yeah. Riding high on the Attitude Era, man. Degeneration X, suck it.
Or
You're
suck
lucky
on
I'm not
this.
wearing a
Like,
DX shirt right now. It's in the wash.
But here's the thing, though, is like with dev cycles the way they are these days, by the time someone's trying to capitalize on something that's popular, it's no longer popular. Like, I've noticed, like, this is the reason I've stopped backing things on Kickstarter. Like, I've backed 2 games on Kickstarter.
Same.
3. Only one of them was delivered so far, which not like the other ones are being open about that. But the one that was delivered was really good, but it was, I mean, small.
Right.
But the other one, it's one of those like farming simulator, kind of like a Stardew Valley thing. And it's like at the time I was super into Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing was at this, that, the next thing, cozy, relaxing game. They finally sent me a beta code for it. Like, I have no fucking interest in this anymore. God damn it.
By the time it comes in, you're like, I've done all the farming I want to do for the
Yeah. We don't need more of these games.
That like, is a good point, though, because I feel like, because I got burned on a couple Kickstarter ones too, where like either I didn't like it or just never came out. I know a guy who went hard. I think it's called the Ouya or the Ouya, when they were doing its own special company. Yeah, it was like a special little box, and all the ads for it made it look incredible. And he got it in his hands after spending God knows how much as one of the original guys, and it was garbage, hot garbage. But the only thing good about it was the controller. The controller, I guess, felt good in your hands, and everything else was terrible.
Oh yeah, I don't do Kickstarter,
not
especially since what is it? Star Citizen is the longest running like Kickstarter essentially.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's not on Kickstarter, but people are still funding it.
Yeah,
what, in the hundreds of millions now, like whatever.
They're almost at $1 billion.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. See, I remember when that was somewhere in the
I remember a decade ago when it started.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
I remember both of my brothers were so excited because they're into those space.
Yeah, I love
simulation
that
type
stuff.
Games. I'm not really into that, so they would always keep telling me like, "Oh, I think it's coming out next year. You should think about it." I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah. You could probably repeat
Yeah.
that sentence for the past
Now,
decade.
now I just joke with them, saying like, "So, when's Star Citizen coming out?" And they just don't say anything. They just smirk at me.
That's great, man. I guess we'll wrap it up with me. So
Yeah.
let me get my notes.
Mhm.
My last choice, however you want to phrase it, is Namco. Namco, just like Shadow with Midway. You guys know who Namco is. They've made video
Oh,
games.
yeah, we
since-
do.
Oh
Yep,
yes.
for every generation since 1955. They started off, and I didn't know this, making cork pop guns. So they started off choosing violence. They kept going throughout their whole
Very
history.
nice.
If you don't know for some fucking reason, they're best known for some of the biggest franchises ever: Pac-Man, Tekken, Ridge Racer, you name it, right?
Hell yeah.
Fucking Dig Dug.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like every generation had a memorable game for that generation by them. There's no way you'd miss it.
Yeah.
And yet they do one thing I didn't see coming, and this is why I thought John rigged the fucking wheel for half a second. Namco, for many years, made all the Dragon Ball Z games. Every single one that I could find. I
Huh.
didn't know this. And if you're
If
new,
you're about to
Of
ship
all the-
Dragon Ball Z games, I'm
Right,
going to be
right.
very unhappy, sir.
Jesus
Of all
Christ.
the studios to give him, we give him this.
If you're new to the Time Palace for some reason, I've never seen a full episode of Dragon Ball Z. There's an actual podcast episode from us where my fellow hosts basically test my knowledge to see if I can figure out what even the plot of the freaking show is. Which is why I chose Dragon Ball Z Evolution, the game.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So,
We're okay with this.
They,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
tried to make a game off that movie.
the movie, the live action movie, thank you.
With fucking Jesse from
Oh, you have
Jesse
no
from
idea.
what's it called? Breaking
Shameless.
Bad.
Oh. So, before I lose my goddamn mind a second time, immediately I knew it was going to be one of the best, worst games I would ever play. Because Goku, who I only know through memes, looks like Edward Norton playing Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. This is what I know from the gameplay. I will show you a photo if I don't have one, because I had one listed, but I
Oh
want to
my
get through my
God.
spiel first. He befriends in the game, in the very beginning, a white-haired, mustached Gohan who looks like Colonel Sanders' Jackie Chan. And they immediately have a fist fight after they basically say hi to each other. And then you beat the ever-living shit out of Jackie. I don't know who actually plays him, but he's clearly in the game itself. He looks like Jackie Chan. You beat the fuck out of him with punches and kicks and some weird aura thing that I guess is known in this town because nobody reacts to the fact that they glow. Anyway. After the
question it.
fight, Colonel Chan hands you a brown blob on the screen and says, I fucking hate this game. This is a Dragon Ball. If you get 6 more, you can make a wish. And I'm like, that's how this game starts. You just hand them this rare item. It should be in like a goddamn bank vault. But you, high school student with no friends and a constant target of bullying, hold on to this for me. And
You have
just
fought me in one.
and put it in your pocket. I'm like, this series sucks. This whole series sucks. You then meet Piccolo, who I assume is the main bad guy, but he's dressed like the Green Goblin. And he goes
Yeah.
and kills Gohan, and I feel nothing because not a single line of dialogue sounded like it was spoken from a human being ever. Case in point, one of Gohan's attacks uses a walking stick that extends a quarter of the way across the screen.
Yep.
And he yells out, and I swear to Frieza, he screams, "Bring out the silly pole." And I was like, this game is incredible. It's no
Can't
it's
believe
no
they did
Hadouken.
that.
It's no Sonic Boom, but Bring Out the Silly Pole is now in my lexicon forever. An hour of this, by the way. So anyway, but I checked the arcade mode out because after a while I was going bananas.
Yeah.
And this fucking game. So it's a fighting game, right? It starts you off with 5 characters, one of whom is holding a handgun in her portrait. I don't understand it. I'm sure one of you guys could explain it to me, but I have a feeling they just made that up for the movie. There's Goku. There's bulimia. There's Chow Yun Fat making the worst mistake of his career. And then there's a K-pop blonde peroxide guy, and then Gohan. The other
Yeah.
5 are behind a wall, which means that you have to play the story modes to unlock other players. So if you bought this game to start like just beating up you and your friend. You don't have friends if you play this game. If you start beating up the computer, you can only pick those 5. You can't pick, if you love Piccolo or whatever they have in this fucking thing, you can't play him until you play the very shitty story mode.
Oh, and I'm sure Piccolo looks like me dressed up like Shrek.
It literally looks like Green Goblin. I wish I had it ready for you guys. I
Interesting.
don't. But I'll send it to you on the Discord. But it's I don't know the names of any of the characters. I assume your favorite one's hiding back there. But I'm just fucking with you guys. There's no way any of them are your favorite characters. The game sucked. The movie sucked. I'm never gonna watch an episode of Dragon Ball Z. I'm going to die on this goddamn hill unless we somehow like find someone like just to give us money for me to watch the fucking thing. It will never happen. Dragon Ball Z is terrible and the movie is the best thing about it.
If that's not a clip that you post so that people fucking nerd rage on Instagram.
Oh, sir, I hope they do, because I have not, like, it's never finished an episode, and I'm glad I've never finished an episode. It's the best worst thing about me being the nerd that I am, because now I don't want to finish an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it's hard to tell the difference between the movie and the game because it looks the same.
Thing looks like it just fell out of, Tekken's asshole. You guys get me on my wrestling. This is the only chance I can get you on anything else on the planet is to rip on your Dragon Ball Z love. It's the only thing I got.
It's all you got, man.
Yeah.
But even the fans disown that.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. That's why I feel safe ripping on it.
There were many, many game companies to potentially make this list and to do the roulette. Like Mike said, we picked 30 of them, and there are quite literally hundreds left, not all of which would actually be applicable to this. But with that in mind, just know that there's at least 50 left. There'll be more of these episodes.
That means 50 more bad games for you guys.
Yep.
This is _ for the Time Pals. See you next time.
Tune in next time on the next
I'm
episode
waiting.
of Dragon Ball Z.
Just like with Goku, it's just Mike screaming, just just stressed,
Restore the Snyderverse.
powering up.
Yep, exactly.
Thank you for listening to The Time Pals. Please like and subscribe. The Time Pals are the geek cornerstone of the Mayday Media Network. Check out all of the Mayday Media podcasts at maydaymedianetwork.com